And welcome back, everyone, to the Zanpakuto creation series. Coming to us from the Full Metal Alchemist world from, come on, I got the name here. Ricardo, Ready Player One. They asked the question, what is Alphonse Elric? I believe it's Alphonse, right? Not Alfonso, Alphonse. Alphonse Elric's Zanpakuto. Basically, the little brother of, oh god, I actually can't remember the character's name. He's basically the dude protagonist, not the protagonist, but the secondary protagonist. Now he's posed an interesting little problem, or not conundrum, but conundrum. See, his soul is trapped in this mechanical suit, but he still has a soul, and that's where the essence of his Zanpakuto Shinigami would come from. He's described as being a very gentle, very kind individual. He has a liking for cats. And even though he has a very powerful physical form, he's not a brute or anything. So, and obviously intelligent enough to do alchemy. The alchemy of Full Metal Alchemist proved to be a little bit of a thing. Because I'm like, that doesn't not have to do with your soul. Especially if you're dealing with Philosopher's Stones, which are forged from the death of God knows how many people. But that's not... it's not ingrained into your soul, per se. It doesn't define you as an individual in the sense of your soul is not marred in the same sense as, say, if you had hollow abilities or something like that, born with it. Or or Naruto having theoretically Kurama. Technically it shouldn't matter, but in theory it could. But at the same time, a lot of the more advanced stuff in Full Metal Alchemist does involve the death and collection and manipulation of souls. So I'm wondering, do I include alchemy with this Zanpakuto? Does that mean I include alchemy with any Full Metal Alchemist Zanpakuto? I don't. Oh, by the way, the brother's name was Edward. That's right, Edward Elric. So I ultimately came down to this. I think there are aspects of alchemy that you can use, breaking down elements or focusing on a certain element of alchemy, the concepts of alchemy. But I don't think alchemy itself needs to play a part directly in the Zanpakuto. So, with that said, though, what do I think the Zanpakuto of Alphonse Elric is? And I started thinking, okay, it's going to be a Keto base. He's very intelligent, has a soft nature, or a good nature. So he's not someone like a Renji or a Ichigo, who's a lot more gung-ho and aggressive. That'd be more of an Edward kind of ability. But I like the idea of Keto, and then the Keto ultimately turned into Elemental. So it's a Keto/Elemental type Zanpakuto. Sealed State Stone Katana. Its release would be Cloud. Now, Cloud, you might think, well, clouds are clouds. How can that be released? But no, you can cloud someone's vision, cloud someone's view. Cloud can be used as a verb. So it's Cloud, and ironically, Shikai's name is Overcast Cat, or Kumori Neko. Its Bankai would be Hidden Panther Fog, or Katarata Pasu no Kiri. Now, its spirit would take the form of that of kind of like a little floofy cat. Not necessarily one made of clouds, but like a cloudy-looking cat, big foofball. Its release would, I think, be a pretty basic Zanpakuto. Now, I don't have a picture of her right now, but there is one of the original 13 Court Guard Squad captains. One second. Okay. One of the original 13 Court Guard Squad captains, who does have, we do see the release date of their Zanpakuto. It was the woman with the glasses who looked honestly like she might be related to Nanao. And okay, Shinigami. Yeah, I'm just looking up which character that was. Because Kubo made the original 13 Court Guard Squad. I have a feeling they're going to be a primary antagonistic force in the Hell Arc whenever we get to the Hell Arc. But until then, I wait with bated breath for that. Because, I love Bleach. I'm always down for new Bleach, new content. I've loved what they've done with the 1,000-Year Blood War arc at the moment. Even the stuff they added. Is it Batsu Unsai Katori? Batsu Unsai Katori. That was the captain. I think she was the original 8th Division captain, if I'm not mistaken. I'm kind of getting that information up right now. But yeah, she had a spear like Naginate, which was kind of hooked at the end. It had a bit of a sharp point. So let me just see what we got here now. Sorry, I'm trying to... Okay, why are you just... what the heck? All right, this is not going to be... they decided to do something weird with this page. Regardless, yeah, it was... The idea I have here is kind of a spear tip with a bit of a hook at the hook near the bottom, or a hook near the top. Like, it's a little bit more curved than, say, a standard spear at the tip. And what the Zanpakuto does is actually fairly simple. And kind of the idea I have a little bit for Nanao's is... or no, sorry, not Isane's, is it deals with clouds to some degree. It deals with moisture. But particularly, this one literally is just pulling moisture from the atmosphere and creating clouds, creating a fog, if you will. Now, this would work for someone who is not necessarily the most aggressive in terms of personality, a very mild individual. In terms of how effective something like fog or clouds could be in combat, in terms of like an offensive capability, it's not really that effective for offense, but it would be more designed for supplementary support, particularly like, say, dousing, affecting, say, fire type abilities, or thinking words here, or say distraction, creating enough of a cloud cover to kind of distract individuals. So you'd think this would be a kind of useless Zanpakuto until you get to the Bankai. The Bankai would basically just be, Alphonse would just kind of point the spear up, and moisture, kind of like an inverse Haka no Togame. Instead of like an outward expanse of clouds, all the moisture in the immediate area minus the user would just disappear to be directed at a tip, and it's just a giant fog bank that is dozens of feet high, just encases the entire area. And the user can hide in the fog bank attack. Beyond that, though, I don't mean just say the environment. I mean all the moisture in the area, which means that initial activation, if you're within the range of the Zanpakuto and not strong enough to resist it, moisture's getting kicked out of your body. Moisture's getting sucked out, and you're either not, if you're not dead, you're going to be on death's door by the time it happens. Beyond that, though, this Zanpakuto would also allow you to manipulate the cloud fog bank, if you will, to your leisure. Now, that might not sound impressive until you realize that that's still, God knows how much water collected in that little environment there. Now, I think the final ability, which would probably be the only offensive ability the Zanpakuto would really have, apart from the initial activation of the Bankai, would be to basically just channel all the water into one go. And, strike at someone with a large amount of water. But I think it goes beyond that, because I think what someone can do is essentially, because fog is nothing but water vapor in the air, they can pretty much force the fog into a person's nose, ears, mouth, whatever hole they can choose, and then just, suddenly constitute it all into liquid and basically kind of explode them if they really needed to. It would be a devastating move. It would be horrifying. But it'd also be something like Alphonse wouldn't want to use unless he has to. Another advantage to, say, the clouds would be, like I said, dousing flames, dampening abilities, for example. That could be a secondary effect, like a fully realized effect of the Zanpakuto, is that anything, say, within the fog bank dampens the actual ability of the person fighting him. That would be a cool kind of ability, because it would also be infused with his Ryatsu as well. Now, in terms of weaknesses, like I said, except for one or two minor abilities in the Bankai, this Zanpakuto is not an offensive type. It's more of a supplementary support type. And it can be used for some quick trickery, all that. Also, you do not want to go up against a lightning user with this Bankai, because if you use this Bankai, you're stuck in that cloud vapor. Striking that water is just going to shock you to hell. Beyond that, enough heat's just going to evaporate these clouds out of the grid. So this Ryujin Jaka, for example, is just going to completely neg this thing. Even if you're dampering Yamamoto to some level, it's like you're Zankano Ryujin Jaka. The level of heat coming off the thing would just be too much for a Bankai like that. For a Bankai like this. No matter how much strong, unless he's like an equivalent to Yamamoto, which he would not be, let's be honest. Beyond that, though, I mean, it's standard fare, Hayariatsu. If someone is able to just keep themselves from inhaling the clouds, they're not going to be able to get that finishing move off on them. And it's got a range. When it activates, the Bankai is only taking moisture from a certain area. Now, it can still be a very large area, but with practice, you can extend the radius of the area. But ultimately, it's still not going to be a Zanpakuto that is going to be like engulfing the Soul unless you train to the point where you literally just engulf the Soul Society and then just take all the moisture in the Soul Society. But you wouldn't do that because that would actually kill nearly everyone. That would actually make this Bankai ironically forbidden to use in the Soul Society. But yeah, either way, that's my thoughts. I think it was a cool kind of idea for him, especially as someone who's not very evil, mean, or aggressive at all. But until then, though, just my thoughts. What do you think? Put it in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Later.